JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, cops probing whether jealousy or revenge motivated murder of pregnant woman. Police sources have shared two theories, one of them jealousy, which could have led to the murder of 26-year-old Chantiva Griffiths on Orange Street in downtown Kingston on Monday about 6:30 p.m. Griffiths was said to be 6 months pregnant at the time she was shot in the head multiple times by a gunman. Yesterday, a police source who requested anonymity said one of the leads investigators are exploring is that Griffiths was threatened many times to abandon her employment at a store. According to the source, Griffiths, who was put in charge of managing and supervising the store, had fired a worker. The source also said that police are investigating the possibility that a former female companion of the store owner, who was sidelined by the businessman, may have ordered the gruesome killing in revenge. She controlled the business place. A girl got fired, so it is between that girl and the boss's first girlfriend, who used to eat out the business and run it down. Word is that that woman loved to gamble and could not buy back stock for the store, the cops said. Griffiths came into the business and started to do the right thing. She's from the Arborview area. She told people that she was going to stop at a friend's drink out. Somebody must have made a phone call. How else would they know when she was going to walk and where she was going to walk? Even in a workplace, you have people laugh and talk with you and still keep up slackness against you, the cops said. Griffith's killing was yesterday condemned by women's rights advocate Nadine Spence. Every day you get up and hope that things are getting better and that some things are making a difference and that the different strategies are working. But every day you wake up, something else happens that throws you further into despair and just sheer hopelessness, Spence said. Hearing that a pregnant woman at 26 years old was shot, it leaves you breathless. You wonder who is safe in Jamaica, and you start to wonder, when will it be your turn? None of us seem safe, and for this one in particular, it is really shocking, Spence added. Elderly man hit by minibus in Manchester, hospitalized. An elderly man has been hospitalized after he was hit by a minibus in porous Manchester on Tuesday. Preliminary reports are that about 12 p.m., the driver of a Toyota Hiace minibus was overtaking a line of traffic near Trinity when he lost control of the vehicle. The bus went off the road, hitting the elderly man, whose relatives say is in his 60s. Carol Morgan, a cousin of the injured man, said he was standing in front of a bar when he was hit by the bus and flung into a tomato garden. She accused the driver of videotaping her injured relative before fleeing the scene. A police source said that the driver turned up at the Porus police station after the accident. The injured man was rushed to the Mandeville Regional Hospital, where he has been admitted. Businessman attacked in downtown Montego Bay. Another businessman was attacked near a bank in downtown Montego Bay in St. James. It is reported that on Thursday morning the businessman, who is of Chinese descent, was robbed then stabbed in the collarbone. He had earlier conducted business at a financial institution. The incident came 24 hours after a woman, who is also of Chinese descent, was slashed in the face in downtown Montego Bay. It is reported that there have been 5 attacks on members of the community in recent times. This has raised safety concerns among members of the community. 4 of the 5 crimes occurred without any robberies associated with it, a member of the community said. Members of the community have called for an urgent meeting with Senior Superintendent of Police Vernon Ellis, the commanding officer for St. James, to discuss their concerns. The crime situation in downtown Montego Bay has caused grave concerns among the business community. Last Tuesday, 42-year-old computer technologist Richard Bell Jr. was robbed and stabbed outside an ATM in Samshop Square. He later died. The attack happened about 11 a.m. His family did not find out about his death until 2 days later because the police were not able to identify his body. And that incident was the second he encountered in weeks. He was robbed while boarding a taxi downtown Montego Bay. Owing to the fact that banks are not collecting large amounts of monies over the counter, we have been forced to use drop-off and ATM machines, which are not safe, a business operator lamented last week. The businessman wants banks to make more ATMs available inside their businesses or to increase the security provided to customers who line up outside these financial institutions. Hunts Bay Police lists 5 persons of interest. The Hunts Bay Police are seeking 5 male persons of interest as they probe incidents in the communities of Riverton and Callaloo Mews. They are Lennox Dunkley of a Portmore address, who is a business operator in Riverton; Marvin Taylor, otherwise called Ryo, a business operator in the community; Marquise Ellis, also known as Mark East, from Spanish Town, who frequents Riverton, Stony Hill, and Rosalie Avenue. Barley from Riverton, and Daddy Pimp from Callaloo Mews, who also frequents Riverton. The men are being asked to report to the Hunts Bay CIB within the next 24 hours. According to the police, the past 3 days, December 12 to December 14, accounted for 2 murders and sporadic gunfire in the Riverton and Callaloo Mews communities. They believe these men are critical in assisting in current investigations as cops seek to save lives, property, and to restore peace in Riverton and Callaloo Mews. The Hunts Bay police are asking anyone who knows the whereabouts of the individuals named to contact them at 876-923-7111, the police 119 emergency numbers, or the nearest police station. Senior citizen among 4 shot in St. Andrew. A senior citizen was one of 4 persons who were shot and injured on Fitzgerald Avenue, close to Maxfield Avenue in St. Andrew yesterday afternoon. The incident occurred about 2 p.m. According to a resident, the man had just collected his pension at the Whitfield Town Post Office and was walking along the roadway when he was shot. Me feel sorry for the old man because him no run at all. Me saw the man leave off at the post office step and then the car just drive down and shoot the man. Him couldn't even run and him poor bones and can't even sit. The man them no care at all because them sisters an elderly person get shot, he said. The St. Andrew South Police have confirmed that all 4 persons turned up at the Kingston Public Hospital with gunshot wounds were in stable condition. An officer on the scene said the incident could be part of a long-standing feud in the area. It is reported that the gunmen, who were traveling in a grey Toyota Voxy, drove along Maxfield Avenue and began firing at a group of people. An alleged eyewitness said the sole female that was shot was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The lady will get shot in her vagina or near them partly, just around a little stall. Me honestly not think she was the target, but because when the shots start fire, the man them a try escape, so them run towards her stall and so she get shot. She's a big woman too, and she recently did an operation and put in a pacemaker and know this, the resident said. The resident said that this incident have left them cowering in fear, and they implored the police to maintain a strong presence in the area. The police them there a lot of times, but the man them a work off a phone call, so them always 2 steps ahead of the police. Shots used to fire on the security post them did there, but now things are get rougher. Me beg the police them for just stay here because me want a peaceful Christmas. Right now I'm afraid for come on my window, a resident said. Early childhood center damaged by fire in Spanish Town. 12 students are now out of school following a fire at the Kingsville Early Childhood Center in Spanish Town, St. Catherine this morning. It is reported that flames were seen coming from the facility, which is located on Young Street, about 2 a.m. and an alarm was raised. 4 units from the St. Catherine Fire Department responded to the fire, which gutted 2 buildings and partially damaged Archer's funeral home. The fire was extinguished. I got this sad news this morning. I've been teaching here for the last 28 years, Beverly Johnson said. I'm very sad. Don't know what I'm going to do now, but my sadness is mostly about my boss. She lost everything, Johnson added. The owner of Archer's funeral home, which has been operating along Young Street for the last 15 years, also suffered losses. We have to be rescheduling the planned post-mortem for today, Michael Archer said. We deal with so many people island-wide, so it is a setback for all. So hopefully the matter will be dealt with by Friday to address the issue, he said. Archers has had to remove several cadavers. The business is insured. The problem is a sad one, but no life has been lost, said Archer. Several family members, some who journeyed from as far as St. James, were on scene and expressed disappointment about the situation. Investigation continues in the cause of the fire. U.S. gunning to plug 80 arms flow. The Biden administration has pledged more support in curbing the smuggling of guns from Haiti to Jamaica amid a sharp increase in murders here. Mark Wells, the United States Deputy Assistant Secretary for Caribbean Affairs and Haiti at the Bureau of Western Hemisphere Affairs, has also acknowledged America's complicity in Jamaica's crime dilemma, with America's addiction to narcotics and other drugs helping to fuel the crisis. Wells, who is in the island for bilateral engagements, said that one of the main premises of the Biden administration is that democracy must deliver security and other fundamental benefits for people. We have made our own investments in that area, but we also recognize that things like our drug use create problems for other countries, and we have a shared responsibility to help countries address those problems. We have a very strong international cooperation with Jamaica on attacking transnational criminal organizations. We also recognize that there are significant internal security issues in Jamaica, and what we try to do in that sense is to help with building up institutions, Wells said on Friday during an interview. Washington will continue offering assistance, said Wells, to the Jamaica Constabulary Force. the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, and the judiciary. There have been high-value drug interceptions along Jamaica's coastline in recent times, but illegal gun inflows to the island have significantly outpaced seizures, with an estimated 2,400 weapons smuggled in annually, with 626 gun seizures reported in 2020. That represents just over a quarter of illegal inflows. Concerns have also been raised about increased drug trafficking in the region, was disclosed, with Haiti and the Dominican Republic featuring prominently. Acknowledging the thriving guns for drugs trade between Haiti and Jamaica, Wells said that the Jamaican government has asked for assistance in dismantling the well-organized criminal activity valued at millions of dollars. Jamaica's porous borders, with more than 140 informal ports of entry, offer safe to gun runners and drug traffickers. That score just caused murders, which stood at 1,332 up to November 30, to spiral by more than 10% year on year. All other major crimes were down. Some of those guns come directly from the United States. Others are trafficked by criminals themselves. The ones coming from Haiti are examples of that. We recognize that we have to do more in Haiti, Wells, whose portfolio covers the island, said. Approximately 71% of illegal traded guns have their source in the U.S. Wells said that the U.S. continues to work with the Haitian government and its law enforcement agencies to try to stem those flows. This week, the U.S. State Department is expected to lead a conversation among the international community to discuss collective issues being faced and how assistance can be given to Haiti. Jamaica reports 25 new COVID-19 cases, 3 deaths. Jamaica on Wednesday reported 25 new cases of COVID-19 and 3 virus-related deaths. This brings the total number of confirmed cases recorded on the island since the start of the pandemic to 91,868, and the death toll to 2,432. Of the newly reported cases, there were 16 females and 9 males, with ages ranging from 11 months to 77 years. The cases were recorded in St. James 12, Kingston and St. Andrew 6, St. Catherine 4, Manchester 2, and Hanover 1. Meanwhile, the latest victims are a 76-year-old male from St. James, a 71-year-old male from Hanover, and an 87-year-old female from St. Anne. The deaths occurred between September 18 and December 13. 4 more deaths were reported under investigation. The country also recorded 28 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 63,595. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.